Whilst the people came round us, and seizing the trooper's mare by the bridle, said to him, Strikest thou this youth such a blow as this for a mere bush? But the trooper cried out to them, This fellow is an accursed thief. Whereupon I came to myself and stood up. And the people looked at me and said, Nay, he is a comely youth. He would not steal anything. And some of them took my part, and others were against me, and question and answer waxed loud and warm. The people pulled at me, and would have rescued me from his clutches. But as fate decreed, behold, the governor, the chief of police, and the watch entered the gate at this moment, and seeing the people gathered together around me and the soldier, the governor asked, What is the matter? By Allah, O Emir, answered the trooper, this is a thief. I had in my pocket a purse of blue silk lined with 20 good gold pieces, and he took it. Whilst I was in the crush, quoth the governor, Was anyone by thee at the time? And quoth the soldier, No. Thereupon the governor cried out to the chief of police, who seized me. And on this wise the curtain of the Lord's protection was withdrawn from me. Then he said, Strip him. And when they stripped me, they found the purse and my clothes. The wali took it, opened it, and counted it, and finding in it 20 dinars, as the soldier had said, waxed exceeding wroth, and bade his guard bring me before him. Then said he to me, Now, O youth, speak truly, didst thou steal this purse? At this I hung my head to the ground and said to myself, If I deny having stolen it, I shall get myself into terrible trouble. So I raised my head and said, Yes, I took it. When the governor heard these words, he wondered and summoned witnesses who came forward and attested my confession. All this happened at the gate. Then the governor ordered the link-bearer to cuff off my right hand, and he did so, after which he would have struck off my left foot also. But the heart of the soldier softened, and he took pity on me and interceded for me with the governor that I should not be slain. Thereupon the wali left me and went away, and the folk remained round me and gave me a cup of wine to drink. As for the trooper, he pressed the purse upon me and said, Thou art a comely youth, and it befitteth not thou be a thief. So I repeated these verses. I swear by Allah's name, fair sir, no thief was I. Nor, O thou best of men, was I a bandit bred. But fortune's change and chance overthrew me suddenly, and cark and care my course misled. I shot it not indeed, 'twas Allah shot the shaft, that rolled in dust the kingly diadem from my head. The soldier turned away, after giving me the purse, and I also went my ways, having wrapped my hand in a piece of rag and thrust it into my bosom. My whole semblance had changed, and my color had waxed yellow from the shame and pain which had befallen me. Yet I went on to my mistress's house, where, in extreme distress of spirit, I threw myself down on the carpet bed. She saw me in this state and asked me, What aileth thee, and why do I see thee so changed in looks? And I answered, My head paineth me, and I am far from well. Whereupon she was vexed and was concerned on my account, and said, Burn not my heart, O my lord, but This will dispel thy grief. Thou must indeed drink and tell me of thy tidings. I asked her. Perforce must I tell thee, and she answered yes. Then said I, if it needs must be so, then give me to drink with thine own hand. She filled and drank and filled again, and gave me the cup which I took from her with my left hand, and wiped the tears from my eyelids, and began repeating, when Allah willeth, aught befall a man, who hath of ears and eyes and wits full share. His ears he deafens, and his eyes he blinds, and draws his wits even as we draw a hair, till having wrought his purpose he restores. Man's wits that warned more circumspect ye fair. When I ended my verses I wept, and she cried out with an exceeding loud cry, what is the cause of thy tears? Thou burnest my heart. What makes thee take the cup with thy left hand? Quoth I, truly, I have on my right hand a boil. And quoth she, put it out, and I will open it for thee. It is not yet time to open it, I replied. So worry me not with thy words, for I will not take it out of the bandage at this hour. Then I drank off the cup, and she gave not over plying me with drink until drunkenness overcame me, and I fell asleep in the place where I was sitting. Whereupon she looked at my right hand and saw a wrist without a fist. So she searched me closely and found with me the purse of gold in my severed hand wrapped up in a bit of rag. With this such sorrow came upon her as never overcame any, and she ceased not lamenting on my account till the morning. When I awoke, I found that she had dressed me in a dish of broth of 4 boiled chickens, which she brought to me together with a cup of wine. I ate and drank, and laying down the purse would have gone out, but she said to me, whither away? And I answered, where my business calleth me. And said she, thou shalt not go, sit thee down. So I sat down, and she resumed, hath thy love for me so overpowered thee that thou hast wasted all thy wealth, and hast lost thine hand on my account? I take thee to witness against me, and also Allah be my witness, that I will never part with thee, but will die under thy feet. And soon thou shalt see that my words are true. Then she sent for the Qazi and witnesses, and said to them, write my contract of marriage with this young man, and bear ye witness that I have received the marriage settlement. When they had drawn up the document, she said, be witness that all my monies which are in his chest, and all I have in slaves and handmaidens and other property, is given in free gift to this young man. So they took act of this statement, enabling me to assume possession in right of marriage, and then withdrew after receiving their fees. Thereupon she took me by the hand, and leading me to a closet, opened a large chest, and said to me, see what is herein. And I looked, and behold, it was full of kerchiefs. Quoth she, this is the money I had from thee, and every kerchief thou gavest me containing 50 dinars. I wrapped up and cast into this chest. So now take thine own, for it returns to thee. And this day thou art become of high estate. Fortune and fate afflicted thee, so that thou didst lose thy right hand for my sake. And I can never requite thee, nay, although I gave my life to wear but little, and I should still remain thy debtor. Then she added, take charge of thy property. So I transferred the contents of her chest whores and chattels, and lay not down to sleep that night, being sorely grieved for my grief, till I told her the whole of what had befallen me. I passed the night with her, but before we had lived together a month's time, she fell sorely sick, and illness increased upon her, by reason of her grief for the loss of my hand, and she endured but 50 days before she was numbered among the folk and heirs of immortality. So I laid her out, and buried her body in Mother Earth, and let make a pious prelection of the Koran for the health of her soul, and gave much money in alms for her. After which I turned me from the grave and returned to the house. There I found that she had left much substance in ready money and slaves, mansions, lands, and domains. And among her store indeed even now have I made an end of receiving the price. So I desire thou balk me not in what I am about to say to thee. Twice have I eaten of thy food, and I wish to give thee as a present the moneys for the sesame by which are by thee. Such is the cause of the uncutting off my right hand and my eating with my left. Indeed, said I, thou hast shown me the utmost kindness